point, we can go ahead and get started. Just real quickly for those folks in the media, just a little bit of information about what we're going to do today. The mayor's going to give an introduction, and then we'll have the two gentlemen who are making the investment in this project speak. If you want to ask a question, I would ask it if you use the chat function. It's down at the bottom of your screen, and send the message to me, to Tom West. And if you could give me your name, who you represent. If you're, my example in the email was Walter Cronkite from CBS, and I have a question for the mayor. And you don't have to tell me what the question is, but then I will, and be patient with me. This is my first one of these. I will then go through and unmute you and recognize you to ask your question, and they can answer your question. So if that works, we'll go ahead and get started. Mayor, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Mayor Joe Meyer of the City of Covington, and with us today are Commissioners Shannon Smith and Michelle Williams. I want to welcome all of our media guests, our city staff, members of the public to this very important announcement. And as Tom mentioned earlier, this is our first virtual press conference, so patience might be required at various times as we learn how to do this. I'm going to give the background of this announcement today, and then turn it over to Andy Blair and Kurt Reynolds for the details, and then we'll all be available to answer any questions. We're talking about Latonia today. Latonia is a great old neighborhood in the south end of Covington. It was visited by President Roosevelt in 1938 when he addressed a crowd of 50,000 people at a little racetrack that was out in Latonia at the time to promote the New Deal. It was home to the Latonia racetrack. It has been a center for railroad operations. And like a lot of the older neighborhoods throughout the country, it's seen its ups and downs as it's gone through the transitions associated with suburban flight, generational change, of disinvestment and reinvestment. In 2018, the city's Economic Development Department identified Latonia as one of the city's next hotspots. Latonia is a neighborhood of affordable housing, good schools, really good access. It's got a terrific community spirit and a great deal of pride. And it's seen a whole lot of energy and creativity in the past few years. The small businesses that are the backbone of Covington have really been present in the Latonia area too. Bard's Burgers, Moonrise Donuts, and about 15 other storefronts have been filled with local entrepreneurs. And Covington as a whole is known for our homegrown entrepreneurs and our unique establishments, and Latonia is no exception. When I was younger, Latonia was excited when its first shopping center was built in the 1960s on the site of the former Latonia racetrack. And today, Latonia has seen its better days. The shopping center has been faced with competitive headwinds from the changes in the retail environment, from the Walmart out in Fort Wright, from the developments up in Taylor Mill, and it needs a new future. And the people of Latonia have long wanted to see that center refocused and revitalized. After I was elected mayor in 2017, I visited the Schottenstein Group in Columbus to talk about the shopping center, and the Schottenstein Group was open to new concepts and redevelopment. And the result is why we're here today. In March of 2019, Tom West and his economic development staff met with Andy Blair and Kurt Reynolds of Blair Technology Group, learned about its sister city ReGadget, both of which are high growth technology companies interested in creating a bigger concept with a critical mass of other tech companies in Latonia. The two big boxes of Latonia Plaza 2 seem to fit. So Tom and his staff, particularly Suzanne Geddes, worked with Kurt Reynolds on local incentives for ReGadget. Triad, the Tri-County Economic Development Agency, help them win a state payroll incentive. And today, here in May of 2020, we are about to announce this multi-million-dollar project. So I want to turn this over to Andy Blair and Kurt Reynolds for the details. Andy is the founder and CEO of Blair Technology Group and co-owner of ReGadget. Kurt is the co-owner of ReGadget and CEO of Blair Technology Group, and both have long ties to Latonia and are true homegrown entrepreneurs. Andy, Kurt?
All right, I'll go first. Thank you everyone for being here. A little more about me and Blair Technology Group. We started in 2005 and moved into Covington in 2013. So we work out of the Johnny's Toys building. We purchased that building in 2018. We have a little retail store in the front called Tech Castle. And we currently employ around 120 people from the area. And I'll kick it up. It's on the press release, but we're a computer refurbisher. We renew desktops, laptops, a variety of other computer equipment, and market that through the internet e-commerce. We're the #1 Microsoft authorized refurbisher in the country. All right, Kurt.
So back in 2017, ReGadget was formed. We noticed that there was a spot in the educational sector that we could work on that Blair didn't actively work on. So Andy and I started ReGadget, and we had one person to start us in a 1,000 square foot facility, a retail shop, even though we weren't retail. And by the end of 2017, the business was growing. So we purchased a building out in Florence, a 5,000 square foot building that we're still in today. In the 2 years that we were in the building, we've grown, we've pretty much doubled our growth every year. And we're up to 24 employees, which is too many to be in such a little spot. So about a year and a half ago, we were looking to move and to grow into a bigger spot, which is when we started talking with the Schottenstein Group in the city of Covington about the 2 big boxes in Latonia. Since Blair is in Latonia, we thought it'd be a great spot for us to try to move into to help both companies continue our growth and to enhance the 2 empty spaces that ended up being there. So with the purchase, we formed CovTech to buy the building, to try and make it more of a technology and green space that Andy can talk about here in a minute. But it's going to hopefully revamp and make it look a lot better. So the move is started. So we've started fixing up the inside already. Blair is moving some stuff in there currently. ReGadget should be moving in about a month. So with ReGadget's growth, once we get in there, we're targeting jobs in growing the company. So we're going to hire about 10 people as soon as we get in there. And in the next year to 2, we're hoping that we'll hire between 40 and 50 new people to come in to help grow the business. The jobs are going to include computer techs, customer service, sales, purchasing, a little bit of everything that has to do with a business, management. So to be all levels of the company that we're bringing people in to do to help grow that. So we're excited to work with the city and move into the space, and it's going to be good for us and hopefully good for the continued revitalization of Latonia. So I'll kick it back to Andy to talk about some of the changes we're going to make in ways that it's going to go green and more technology centered.
So if you want to bring up the first image of the outside, we'll start out here and then move to the interior. So this is a complete redesign of the facade. You'll see that we've broken up that sea of asphalt that currently exists, and we are going to fill it with trees. We'll also take down the large Value City sign that's 50 feet tall or so and replace it with a smaller structure. So we're not really giving up a lot of parking spaces. We're leaving our options open for the future, but as you can see, it does improve the parking lot pretty good. If you want to move on to the next slide. So we've added these overhangs here. So the center overhang will be more for employee use. So in that space there, you'll have a variety of tables, a few other amenities for the tenants to use. Over on the Value City side, it gets a major facelift with the large overhang and the extended sidewalk there. Right now, if you look at Value City, you see 4 to 5 industrial-looking garage doors. We're going to cover those with wood planks, and we're also going to block them off with trees. So hopefully those are less visible from the street. You can move a little closer to the next slide. So this is the Value City side again. As you can see, significantly more attractive. We're adding stone to both of the pillars and a variety of plants out front. It should be a nice space. You can move to the next one. This is a view from above, and this is our beginning. As these trees mature, the space should get more beautiful. So it should break up the eyesore that has been there for so long. On the inside, we don't have any drawings to show right now because we're leaving that kind of wide open to be as flexible as possible for the potential tenants. But our thoughts are that we are going to cut up the space inside to allow a variety of smaller to large businesses. So, for example, in the Value City side, it's roughly 70,000 square feet. We'll cut that up into roughly 4 or 5 large rooms in there that could host a variety of different types of businesses. So just on the Value City side, ReGadget is moving a fair amount of employees in. BTG will also move a fair amount of employees in, and the rest of the space may hold an additional 100 or so. And that's the small side. On the Burlington side, it's a much larger project. It's 130,000 square feet, and everywhere you turn, what you would think is a small, tiny little office ends up being another 30,000 square foot room. So Burlington has potential to hold a huge number of employees there. We're not exactly sure how we're going to cut that up. It's possible it ends up with one rather large tenant and a few additional small ones, or it's possible it ends up with 20 tenants. So we're leaving that open right now. We're going to focus on the Value City side first. That way we can move in, we can get it comfortable. Inside the Value City side, we're going to add a cafe for both Value City and the Burlington side, so it'll be a shared cafe. We're going to reopen that hallway that used to exist, or that doorway that joined the two sides. We'll have a lot of modern amenities for today's workers. So there will be like the cafe, gaming rooms. The entire space will have a modern touch to it while focusing on I guess kind of earth-friendly features. So the building will have, we intend to place solar panels to power the entire building and power all of its tenants, which should help move them to become a little, our hope would be to make all of the tenants inside carbon neutral through what we do with the space. So solar panels will take us there. We have a few other things that we'll do with it to get us there. But overall, both spaces should end up with with hopefully a lot of different companies focused on tomorrow, I'd say, and it should bring a lot of jobs to Covington and should spruce up the area a bit. Kurt, you have any comments?
No, that's pretty good. We're excited to get moving in and and get this space started to what we're hoping it's going to end up looking like.
Great, thank you all. If there are questions now from the media, if you all could use the chat function and or if you're new to this like I am and you just want to unmute yourself and ask a question. The other thing I will say too, while I have the talking stick, is that we can get Andy and Kurt's contact information to you. I think Dan can probably help us make that happen. And so that if you want to do some individual interviews with them, we can make that happen. Michael Monks from River City News has questions, so we're going to unmute him. Michael.
Hi, congratulations. Welcome to Covington. Michael from River City News. My first question is about the shopping center in general. This looks like a pretty significant adjustment for the footprint that's out there and how it will look. I'm wondering what impact those of you involved, whether from the city or from the businesses, what impact you envision this having on the rest of that immediately surrounding area and the rest of the retail sections?
Andy, you want
to? Well, we hope it has a positive impact. The Latonia area has gotten a lot of good things coming in with the donut shop, the burgers, the Bart's Burgers and stuff. So it's starting to improve, and you can see the city's putting a lot of effort into Latonia. So we hope to be the next piece that helps improve the whole area and keep it on the, to continue to be upcoming and improve everything around it.
Michael, one thing that I would add from the city's perspective, I know you're aware and hopefully other folks are aware as well. We're in the process right now of basically rewriting the city zoning code to try to have a more walkable, less automobile dependent community. I think they're moving in this direction with Andy and Kurt's vision to green up that space. He referred to it as a sea of asphalt. It's also kind of a heat island. We have parking regulations right now for areas like that that are designed for the Friday after Thanksgiving, 15 years ago, before we had online shopping and all of that. So we're trying to move away from that. This starts to move in that direction. And aesthetically, I mean, the renderings, I think, are fantastic. I think what's actually going to get built is going to be even more stunning of a change than that. And Latonia has needed this shot in the arm, and we're happy that we've got a couple of local guys that are going to be able to make that not just an economic change, but also the physical change that you see. Did anyone else want to, Mayor or Andy, chime in on that? If not, we got another question here, and I'm going to try to find him on here. Chris Mayhew from the Inquirer has a question. Chris, can you unmute yourself, or do I need to do that? I think I need to find you on the list. Sorry, guys. Okay, there we go.
Yes, I was wondering if could talk about the relationship with the Schoenstein and the just whether these are lease terms on big boxes or purchase. If you could talk about that.
Yeah, so we have a good relationship with the Schottensteins. We have purchased them. So we closed last week, and so we now own them. The Schottensteins were great to work with. We reached out and have been in touch with them for over a year, and they were very helpful the whole time. And we have a pretty good relationship with them. So everything was positive on our end dealing with them, which made the whole process much easier to flow through. But it was really good to deal with them.
Well, welcome to Covington. Welcome to North Kentucky. We've already been here, but growing.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Okay, Tom Demaropoulos from the Cincinnati Business Courier has got a few questions.
Hey, Kurt, Andy, congratulations on this project. Can you talk a little bit about the team that you're using to help you on the design and construction side for the building?
Sure. So we interviewed a variety of companies, and we ended up choosing Hub and Weber to work with us. So prior to even discussing this with them, they had written a blog on what their vision was for the Value City and Burlington building. So that made us assume that they were very familiar with everything. And some of the pieces that they had spoke about we're kind of, we shared the same view. So I've worked with them in the past on the Johnny's Toys space when we installed offices there. They did all of the design work for when we moved in. So that's who we're working with. They get all the credit for the beautiful drawings, and they're hopefully going to help us all the way through.
Excellent. Have you picked a contractor at this point?
Not yet.
Okay. And what would you say is the total investment for this project? I know it's probably going to be dependent on what you end up doing on the Burlington coat side. What about for the initial, the redesign of the exterior and the first phase, the Value City portion?
We have some numbers in mind on the outside. We're still kind of up in the air on the inside of the Value City. We expect this to be about a $7 million project overall. And that's likely before we're adding solar panels or anything along those lines.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, next we've got Pat LaFleur from WCPO has got a couple of questions for Andy and Kurt.
Hey there, thank you. I'll echo everyone else's congratulations. Just a couple questions. I'll ask the first and let you respond, and then I'll go ahead with the second. My first question is, could you just clarify, and I apologize if I missed this, could you clarify how many jobs will kind of come out of this, both existing and new, the expansion you guys are talking about?
Yeah, so ReGadget currently has 24 employees that are going to move down to the new building, and we're going to hire 10 people soon as we get in the space. We just can't hold the 10 in our current space, especially with the coronavirus and stuff going on. And the goal in the next year or two for the ReGadget side would be about 40 to 50 employees on top of that to fill out the rest of the space for us.
Yes, I'll follow up. So the BTG business as well is we have kind of maxed out our current building, so we don't have places to put people either. So we intend to continue our expansion with the Value City space. So we expect to, we're hiring 6 to 7 people a day right now. And so we'll probably top out around 40 or so that we'll add into the Value City space as of now. But that's just, so that's just our 2 businesses going in there. And we together, we're likely to eat up a decent part of Value City, but the Burlington side is massive and should hold a bunch of people.
Great, thank you. And then my second question is regarding the carbon neutral remarks you made. What's your strategy going to be engaging possible tenants and encouraging them to work toward that energy goal?
Well, first, I think we will offer a more attractive space than your typical strip mall or industrial complex. So we'll have some centralized features for all businesses to share, both on the inside and the outside. And I think, with young owners coming up all the time and in business, young entrepreneurs, I think all of them will look for spaces like this that kind of help towards being better to our environment.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. And on that, I want to mention too that we're excited because as this becomes very obvious, new employment center there, this is going to support the other work that's been going on in the Riddies Corner area of Latonia, which that's going to help attract companies and talent to this facility. And likewise, the folks that are employed there will help meet some of those strategic goals in the Latonia area. And I see that Tom Demoropoulos from the Business Courier has another question. Tom, if you want to jump back in there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Kurt, Andy, in terms of leasing out additional space, will you be working with a brokerage firm to help you do that? Or obviously, I would think the city of Covington would be a big help in trying to help bring potential tenants there as well.
We intend to do most of everything on our own, and yes, Covington has been a big help, and I hope they continue to pitch in.
Okay.
So we'll start by trying things on our own. We have some familiarity with this, but like everything else, we're probably just going to wing it.
Okay, Tom, did that get your question answered?
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, and Michael Monks has another question. This one for the city, and to me that means Mayor Meyer. No, go ahead, Michael.
Sorry, let me unmute myself. Yes, either for the mayor or for you, Tom. Do the Schottensteins still own the rest of the shopping plaza out there? And are there conversations ongoing about the future of that section?
Yes, and yes.
Thank you very much.
Was that succinct enough for you, Michael?
I figured that's what I did.
Yes, they do own the rest of it. There have been conversations ongoing with them about their ideas about potentially redevelopment, as well as other possibilities that could be out there. I think if I can build on that a little bit, one of the things I would liken what Andy and Kurt are investing in here is if you take the giant pebble that was dropped into downtown revitalization when Hotel Covington came online, and you then saw the kind of spin-off development or other things that came along, I think we have the potential here with what CovTech is going to do with this major asset in the Latonia area to drop just as large a pebble in the Latonia pond and create a ripple effect to see additional reinvestment and revitalization of the Latonia area, as we saw with Hotel Covington downtown. They're two entirely different types of development, but I think if you can think in terms of what's going to be a catalyst for change and a catalyst for new investment, new jobs, more money, better opportunities for Covingtonians and the folks who live in the area, you may see some similarities there moving forward.
I'll agree with Tom on that. This move is a foundation for a whole new economic purpose for Latonia as it shifts away from a retail model to a tech model that's very much more future oriented. So, we're very optimistic that this investment will lead to significant other investments and building on what's already been accomplished by so many people in Latonia. And this also adds some energy to the decision by Rumpke to relocate a lot of 50 of its office space, office staff from Butler, Kentucky to Latonia, just a block or two away from the shopping center. So it's momentum that's building on pre-existing momentum with a really bright future. One thing that I want to make sure everybody understands, and I'm going to brag about Blair Technology Group, I want to emphasize this, that Blair is the largest certified Microsoft refurbisher in the United States of America. And they go back and forth between being number one or number two in the world. And so we're dealing with some very remarkable entrepreneurs who have been able to recognize need, take ideas, and build it into an extraordinary enterprise. So much credit belongs to both Andy and to Kurt for what they have accomplished so far. And with this step, we think they've got a whole lot more ahead of them.
Absolutely. I want to acknowledge a couple of folks that were on here. Brittany Cox from the Cabinet for Economic Development has joined us. She's worked very closely with Andy and Kurt on their state incentive. She's on Lee Krim, Kimberly Rossetti, Cheryl Bessel, and I've probably left somebody else out from Triad. We're also on here. Their work has been important to this. A lot of city staff has been on here, but I also want to acknowledge Pat O'Donnell from Heritage Bank, and who is president of the Latonia Business Association, was also able to join us here. So I want to recognize those folks who were here in the room. The mayor mentioned Suzanne Geddes. This grew out of a business retention and expansion project that we had in a visit with Andy and Kurt a little over a year ago. So I want to acknowledge those folks as well. I had a couple of people asked to want to say a few things. And so at this point, Commissioner Shannon Smith messaged me that she wanted to be able to unmute for a couple of seconds.
You mean a couple of minutes, Tom? I'm totally kidding. I just want to say congratulations, guys. Super excited to have you, and hope at some point we can do a walkthrough before you start major renovations, safely and with masks, of course. But welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, was there anyone else? I've tried to keep up with this chat function. Again, you all, I'm old, I'm a dinosaur, and this stuff is new to me, so.
I want to say thank you to the city of Covington for everything they've done. Tom and Suzanne have been a massive piece of this. They've really helped us along every bit of the way. So thank you very much.
Oh, and I see Marlene Duffy is on here. She was the Triad representative who I think worked closely with you guys, and recognize her.
Yep, thank you to her as well.
Because I always get in trouble when I leave people out, right? Then my inbox blows up. So, all right. Well, thanks everyone. We appreciate you joining us today for our first ever press conference, virtual press conference on Zoom. I'm now going to figure out how to stop this recording and get it somewhere to where you all who ask about it can access it. So, thank you very much for joining.